Okay, everyone, we're back. Now we're going to looking at working with variables. So we want to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and practice what we've learned so far. We've gone over working with variables. We've gone over overview of modules and procedures, working with modules, the code window, creating the sub procedure. And we're going to actually create a sub procedure in a moment, but it's kind of like if you haven't done so already, working with variables is like well, it's about as close as whatever we're going to get to, whatever get into in future modules. So first of all, I want to go ahead and declare variables. Declare a variable to harness a user's name. So we want to get the user's name, and then what their current commission rate is, what they sold so far. So dim str name, and then str name equals input box what is your name? What is your name? My error came up because I didn't put a close quote on it. Close parentheses, sorry. Close parentheses. And then, oh, sorry, I didn't put a beginning parenthesis. Okay. Then I'm gonna say, I want to also get a variable to hold it. Variable to hold what their amount is. Dim DL amount as double. So DBL amount equals input box. What was your sales as your input? I'll finish it off so I don't forget this. What are your sales this year, man? What are your sales this year? And then I want to have a DVL amount and then DVL total. That's what their DBL total amount is. A message box. I'm going to finish off by saying MSG BOX your name and comma. Okay, we're putting an expression here. Your commission is, okay, now I want to, that's what I'm saying, that's my expression. Now I'm going to do some math expression. So I'm going to say, I'm going to put this in parentheses. DVL amount time, because it's better organized with this, with the parentheses, times 0.15. Okay, I didn't put my glue, what I like to call the glue, my ampersands. I didn't put any glue there. So here I'm going to run this. What is your name? My name's Joe. What are your sales this year? $32,000. I'm going at real lowball on it. Joe, your commission is $4,800. Wow, that's really exciting. So what if I make it a little bit more than that? So what if your name is Sue and you made $320,000 this year? Okay, your Sue, your commission is $48,000. Okay. Now notice that the 48 doesn't look that good, so I'm going to use what's called a formatter. Okay, like what's called a format, the format function to do it, and that's going to make that DBL amount look a little bit better. Whatever turns up in this box right here, whatever that turns up in this box. And here I could, I don't want it to look real messy. So I'm going to just add myself another variable here called dim DBL total. I don't really need this, but I'm going to go ahead and add it anyway just because otherwise it's going to look messy. It's a DBL total equals, and then I'm going to say I want this. Oh boy. So DBL total. When I get here, I'm going to format this nicely. After I get the value for DBL total, I'm going to use what's called the format function. Format total, and then my format is going to be. You may have used this when you're using the input mask. Okay, remember that number signs. Number signs mean optional. And here that's required, so I'm going to put a 0. Zeros are required, and then the optional pennies. Optional pennies. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and run it. What's your name? My name is Lou. Lou. What did you make this year, Lou? $240,000. Oh, Lou, your commissions are $36,000. Well, golly. It didn't format my stuff, so what could I have done wrong? DBL, your commission is DBL total. So they have to look back at. That brings up a good point. What happens when you're trying to diagnose your thing, your code? Well, you want to step through and see the variables. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little breakpoint right here. Okay, you see you left click in this sidebar here, and you put a little breakpoint there. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this. I'm going to say my name is Louis. Say Louis. And then my sales are 120. Why didn't it format? Okay, that's my question. So what is it at this point? Notice that the yellow means that you stop the code at that point. So $1,800. I can hover over and see the value of it. $1,800, and my amount was this 1,200 times this amount. So that's how I get $1,800. When it comes down here, I say format DBL total as this. Oh, and it didn't format. Huh. Let's see. Let's see what happened with this. Let's see what happened to it. My format function didn't work right. Format. My format function didn't work right. Let's see. I gotta pause this to find out why it's doing that. Alrighty then. I'm back. Now the reason why I didn't format it was because a DBL cannot, and maybe guess this already, so you can answer ahead of me. DBL total, a double cannot have any type of characters in it. So which did have characters in it. So we could say DBL total we could call it SCR total. Like DBL, a double data type, cannot have any type of characters like a $sign. So I'm going to go ahead and call it SCR total. Then that's indiscriminative, and I could put a SCR total on both of these, and it will work right. Okay, so I have my DBL total. Now notice how it works. Very cool. And since I have no pennies, I'm gonna get rid of this. I can move this little thing back, little breakpoint back to where it was. I can say, okay, my total, Louis, your commission is $1,800. So that looks a little better. Remember, you cannot, inside of a DBL total, inside of a double data type, you can put these characters like a $sign and a comma. Okay, so use a string instead. So that is the solution to our problem. Okay, so adding code readability, putting comments, adding comments because I'm going to go ahead and add a comment. You put an apostrophe here to add a comment, to rem the things out. Okay, by remming, I mean you could type REM. Okay, not the band, but REM, and then comment. Notice that REM turns into uppercase because it VBA knows what REM stands for. So you could also use a apostrophe. That works just fine. Some languages use this character. Some languages use this character. Okay, but VBA uses the trying to do this without looking at a keyboard. If you're hunting peg, you really don't have to be fast to be a programmer. I guess you could if you get copy and paste. Okay, copy paste that's what I found out. Anyway, so we have RAM comment. So this is stuff you're gonna need to write comments in your code to help you remember what you've done. And if you come back a month or 6 months later, you're gonna wonder why you do things a certain way. Well, comment it. Double data type. Can't have special characters. Okay, so it's green. It turns into green. So that comments add code readability. you may want to go ahead and break it across different lines. So if you want to rinse, if you have a real long comment, if you like all this stuff, and you say, I don't really want this on this line. I want it on the next line. Okay, you could do an underscore like that, and then pop it down to the next line. Okay, line continuation character. So that those allow you to enhance the readability of your code. Now on to other things. Conditional structure. We kind of touched on this before, but we have like if structures, like case structures. Okay, we're going to cover those two things. Both of them control program flow. So if statements. If statements. So if something is true, then do this. If something is false, then do this. If something is true, then do this. If else, if something is not this, if something equals this. And if then else could be substituted with a select case. Looks a bit better. So anyway, we'll cover a few of these. Back at our module here. Again, our test. Okay, format. Notice how I use this immediate pane. Immediate pane can be like used as a calculator. Okay, if you don't have a calculator handy, you do question mark 1 plus 1 and you get 2. You can do real complicated math too. Like if you want to test something, see if it works. Let's say 1 and text. Okay, so anyway, it's like a little computer. That's what your immediate pane is. And it also tests variables up here, and I was using that before to find out why it was doing what I was doing, why I wouldn't do what I wanted to do. Alright, so if, here's how you do it on one line, the if statement on one line. If int answer equals 1, then true. Then true. Then boolean correct equals true. Sorry. If int answer, that's using your if statement on one line. So if int answer equals 1, then boolean correct equals true. Sometimes you want to do it on one line, or you may see somebody did it one line and wonder how they did it on one line. Well, so as long as you don't have any errors, you're going to be if then true. No, if it's red, you have an error. Boolean correct, you're going to have it correct like this, but I don't know if it makes sense. If int answer equals 1, then boolean correct equals true. Yeah, it's true enough. It's kind of logical. Logic. So, if then. Now, the other way to do this on multiple lines, so we have if answer. Notice that you don't have to put an and if in here. But with Visual Basic and with Visual Basic for application, you have to put an and if it's on multiple lines. You don't have to use an and if in like languages like PHP or other languages. You don't have to put an and if, but on VBA you do have to have an and if you put it on different lines. So if int answer equals 1, then boolean correct is true and if. Okay, and that's multiple lines. Now your most common again is the if then else, or if then else if. So it get very common, very confusing. So if int answer equals 1, else int answer equals 2. Oh, else, sorry. So if it equals one thing, then true. If it doesn't equal 1, then it's false. Okay, I was thinking the else if. So if int answer is 1, then it's correct. Otherwise, BLA correct equals false. Okay, BLA answer. If int answer is 1, then correct. Else BLA correct equals false. Alright, so then you have your answer for, you have your selection for if, else, if, and if. Okay, so that's really, really confusing. That's when you would use a select case instead. But just for grins, the example of that would be, let's say dim str answer. I guess we could do dim int answer as integer. So if answer is 1, then do this. Else if int answer equals 2, then do this. Else do this. Okay, if it's one, then do this. Else, if answer is 2, then do this. Else, do this. Again, this structure is used, but I would say to enhance their user readability experience, to change it to a select case. Okay, you'll have to make that yourself. I would say, okay, to change this out, to make it a select case statement, we're going to use the same dimension answer. Select case int answer case 1, case 2, case else, and select. I'm going to show you how much easier it is to read this. Maybe you can already see it. So we have, these two are both the same. Yeah, I'm going to take this window down because we're going to use the immediate pane right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close it because we don't need it right now. Okay, look at both these structures here. This is my if structure. This is my select case. Select case. Select case. That's why I had this box there. So select case int answer. So if the answer is 1, do this. Case if the answer is 2. Again, we're looking at if the int answer. Then do this. Do this. Otherwise, do this. Look at that in comparison to this. So we have int answer equals 1, then do this. Else if int answer equals 2, do this. Else do this. If you ask me, this is more confusing. So this is your select case statement. That's your select case statement. So I would choose that as a better, more readable solution to your conditional statements. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a little break and then come back, and we'll go ahead and put all this together.